Alright, I'm going to do a quick video today on how to turn a Marineland Hidden LED system into one that you can put on a timer for the blue lights and the white lights. So I love this LED from Marineland, but the thing after I got it I didn't like about it is that you have to manually turn on the blue lights at night and then flip on the white lights during the day. So with a few dollars worth of parts, I'm going to show you how you can turn this into something you can put on a timer. So the only things that you need are a piece of wire, so just a thin piece of wire, and then you're going to need one, it's a 2.1 millimeter panel mount DC jack. You can pretty much pick these up from Radio Shack or online. Just make sure it's 2.1 millimeter and get something that's panel mount. And you'll just need one of those. I had that lying around. So you'll need this, and then the last thing you'll need is an extra DC adapter. So I got this one off of eBay for like $4, but you want to make sure that it is 15 volt, and get it as close to 800 milliamps. I couldn't find one that was 800 milliamps, so I got one that was 1 amp. So it was the one I had was 15 volt, 1 amp. Alright, so the first thing you're going to want to do is make sure that you've unplugged the power. You don't want power running to this while you work on it. And then the next thing you're going to do is you're going to give this rubber suction cup a quarter turn, and that will, you might have to give it a half turn, but it should allow it to turn enough to pull that out the back. And you're going to see that there's two screw holes. Alright, when you disassemble the case, there's really not much inside. There's a switch, there's the DC plug, and then there's the insert that runs to the LED. So you can basically pull everything out with your fingers, and the first thing we're going to do is solder that new wire that we got, that spare wire. We're going to connect the ground on the first DC plug to the ground on the second DC plug. And you can tell which one's the ground wire. It's the wire that runs, if you follow the black wire coming out of the LED fixture, there's a black, red, and white wire. Follow the black wire back to the DC plug, and you'll see it's soldered right here. So all we're going to do is solder that little piece of wire that I got before. We're going to solder it from the ground of this DC plug to the ground on this DC plug right there. So we'll do that. Alright, so all I've done so far is I've attached the ground from the existing DC jack, just soldered it right on top of the existing one, and then soldered it to the ground here. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to unsolder this red wire from this little switch. Just heat it up until the wire comes off, and then I'm going to solder that to the positive input right here. Now at this point, once you unsolder that red wire, I'll be very careful here, but you should basically have the white shouldn't turn on, and you should just have the blues, and if you put it into the white's position, you should get no power. So that's what we want, and now we're going to take this red wire and we're going to solder it to this DC input. Alright, so now what I've done, I've just soldered the red wire to the positive 5 volt input on this, and you can tell which one it is. It's the one that's attached to the center little pin on the back of it. That's the positive, and then the one right next to it is the ground. And so now if I plug in the power, I can plug it into, I'll set it right here. If I plug it into this one, I will get all the lights, and if I plug it into the other jack, the original one, I get just the blue. So that's exactly what we want. And now, so I've reattached the case, so you can see I've got a spot for 2 plugs now, and I've got one of these analog day-night timers. I'll go ahead and turn it on. So you can see that's all the lights for daylight, and then when we get to nighttime, only the blue lights come on. And then when we get back to daytime, all the lights come on again. So that's what it looks like. And if you wanted the lights to go off at night, you could probably plug this into its own timer, but right now that's what it is. Thanks for watching.